We just want to invite our Honourable Minister to share and give his address, and and also to officiate our side event. Minister.
Thank you, Puan Noliza, the CEO of Urbanis. First, I would like to apologize that I was late a bit, as we were engaged with the President to pay a courtesy call to him 5 minutes ago. So, Excellencies, delegates, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and warm greetings to all of you. Firstly, I would wish you a warm welcome in Malaysia way. Selamat datang. As we embark this session on the need for balanced, affordable living and adequate, affordable housing for all. It is humbling to speak in front of such an esteemed panel of speakers and audience. Among us here today are policymakers, some of you are experts, academia, and advocates of urban sustainability from across the globe, all driven by a common purpose and goal, i.e. to address the challenges of providing affordable housing. Affordable housing is a significant agenda in Malaysia, as the country faces challenges like others related to housing affordability, particularly in urban areas. Today, I would like to highlight some important developments and initiatives Malaysia is pursuing in the field of public affordable housing. Our focus has been on enhancing the governance, accessibility and quality of affordable housing, and ensuring sufficient supply of affordable homes. We have also been very progressive in addressing affordable housing, and we have a comprehensive delivery ecosystem to improve ownership ability, including to solve the issue of bankability. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia's National Affordable Housing Policy aims to improve housing affordability for low-income groups and provides guiding framework for development of affordable homes. This policy remains dynamic as we continuously innovate to improve the well-being of all income groups, especially the low-income earners. For your information, we have a policy to build 500,000 units of affordable housing, and as at today, we have managed to complete nearly 250,000 units of affordable housing. Providing adequate housing is a collective effort and is shared responsibility involving both government and private sector. We have embarked on strategic partnership between various agencies at the federal and as well as state levels, because Malaysia is a federation, as well as the private sector, to construct public affordable houses for various social groups. And to further accelerate the delivery of affordable housing, we have specific agencies under our ministry to see into the needs of two income groups that are in most need of housing, i.e. the bottom 40 and also the middle income earners. Malaysia has set up a panel of experts comprising of 28 renowned experts in the industry, from academia and among industry players, which aspire to provide insights and solutions to these issues and woes of the housing industry, so it can sustain and propel forward in the years ahead. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we are committed to increasingly supply the quality, affordable housing. Our national home ownership agenda focuses on providing access to livable and affordable housing for all Malaysians. These strategies align with our goals for the 2030 agenda, which aim to provide safe, adequate, and affordable houses to everyone. Improving access to house financing is another priority for us. We will enhance existing housing financing scheme to assist low-income and middle-income households in owning homes. For instance, Malaysia has embarked on a scheme that called Rent to Own, a scheme which will be expanded to cover houses priced up to 500,000 ringgit, Malaysia local currency, with the option to purchase a property within 5 years of renting. Secondly, we also have the Fund for Affordable Homes and Youth Housing Scheme, which will continue to provide financing for the purchase of the first house. Malaysia also have a housing loans program by our housing agencies.
And with your views on how you think this affordable housing should be.
Thank you very much, Liza, a friend of mine for many years. Honorable Amina Koming, the Minister of Land Government Development and also Housing. Honorable Jacqueline, the High Commissioner of Pakistan to Kenya, Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Al-Mansuri, Director General of Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, UAE. Distinguished delegates, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very good afternoon to all of you. Have you all taken lunch? No, yeah? Welcome to this second session of the United Nations Habitat Assembly. I think we have a very smooth and wonderful opening, and then with the presidential dialogue by the President. This event entitled The Needs for Balance, Affordable Living and Adequate Affordable Housing for All. This is very close to my heart. I've been promoting affordable housing since I was an urban planner, as a former mayor of Penang, and now as an executive director of UN Habitat. I put housing as the top priority for UN Habitat, following beyond this and been adopted by the executive board, our housing as one of our priorities. And also in the Secretary General, our common agenda, UN Habitat managed to also to put in housing as the key to ensure we leave no one and no place behind. At the same time, housing formed the basis of the new social contract. I think we heard from the President this morning, when you have a house, they lead to education, they lead to health, they lead to employment, they lead to new innovation into the building material, and also lead to public spaces, to the culture. So we would like to put housing as a center. And UN Habitat is very grateful to the organizer for this side event to help give prominence to the Sustainable Development Goal 11.1. So by giving prominence to the adequate housing, I believe that we can create jobs, achieve greater equity, and also build greater social and political stability over time. At least 43 countries globally, UN Habitat has been supporting the formulation and implementation of improved housing policies. I'm sure that you agree that with me that we need to do more. I think that's the reason why this room is full, because it's the top priority of the topic of the day is housing. So let us recall that 1 in 4 people today live without adequate housing globally. Let us not forget the COVID-19 pandemic, when we asked the homeless to stay at home. You stay at home and lock down, but if there's no home where they can stay, and we required those living in informal settlement and slum to wash their hands. They don't even have water to drink. How can you ask them to wash their hands and show the video and sing happy birthday under the water to wash your hand properly? I think this is very important. And without adequate housing, more than 1 billion people live in the highest risk of health, safety and prosperity. Why I put the housing as a center, I just go back to share with you. In March 2018, I went to Matare. I came from a village, from a poor family. I thought that education changed my life. Then I shared my story with her. I said that education will change your life. Then he said that, Madam, you are wrong. You are wrong. I remember this 13-year-old girl. You are wrong. To me, housing is the game changer, because if you had a house, then I can study. Without the house, how can I study under the tree? So that is really hit me. That's why we put UN Habitat, and also our mandate is shelter. So what we would like to see is that in the poorest urban communities, households pay 4 times more than the rest for basic services. You heard the President mention just now. People living in the slum, they have to pay money to go to the toilet, and to pay more expensive water to get 1 barrel of yellow barrel put on the head, and they walk 3 kilometers, and they waited around 3 hours to get that barrel of water. Well, I've seen it myself in Burkina Faso. So I think this is also important. If they are renting, more than 25% of their monthly income will go to pay rent. So what's left? for education and health. So in many cities, multi-generational loans are now the only way a family can own a house. But do we want from countries who have had good practices like Malaysia, who would help us to guide us through this formative force, formative times? Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Excellency. Yeah, I think we hear you very clearly, on the challenges that Pakistan is having. I think you represent a lot of other countries that is facing similar issues, especially when climate change can really cause displacement and slum dwellers. So I just want to move on because we don't have a lot of time. I would like to invite His Excellency Engineer Muhammad Ibrahim Al-Mansuri. He's the DG, Director General of Sheikh Zayed Housing Program at the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure. So I did look up about your program. Seems also very interesting on how UAE is structuring housing, a very inclusive, sustainable housing. So if you'd like to share with us, Excellency.
Your Excellencies, my friends and brothers and sisters, I'm pleased to be here today, and I just want to transfer something, some knowledge of housing. I realized housing, it's a different file, or maybe it's a different subject to deal with. It's totally different. Life is housing, so everybody living in a life. So we decided on in UAE, since we established the United Arab Emirates in 1971, the housing was one of the priority of the government of UAE, and still we had many programs, housing programs at that time, and the total spending since that time until today will be around 200 billion dirham Emirati. According to that, we realized in 2020, we realized we cannot keep going in this way. So we decided to have a different style of policies and styling to do the affordable housing. So we decided that 2020, the coordinations between infrastructure and transports and housing, and we merged all these sectors together with the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure at that time, and just to have an ecosystem to build an eco houses. Basically, all the eco houses built in UAE since 50 years now, mostly we are reaching all the KPIs, sustainable houses. We reduced the carbon footprint to 30% until today, and also we're trying to build. We tried on 2020 to change our way to, instead of being on the classical way of building houses, to affordable houses, and also share it with the private sector. The government and all governments in all the world, they cannot keep just supplying houses with the financial matters and keep going on. We need a sustainable financial system. So we decided we do a partnerships with all the banks in UAE, and we started, instead of just supply the demands was very high, so we started supplying the demand maybe 600% than what used to be before. That's because we decided we finance these houses through banks, and we deal with the banks instead of that. And also we also look for investments. So today we are sharing all our compounds housing in UAE. We're sharing them with the private sectors, and we're trying to do whatever it can be done until we reach that. I think the waiting queue. We decided the waiting queue maybe in 2025 would be maybe a month from there. We are talking about 30 days from applying for housing. I believe UAE is totally different than than the other countries. The housing should be related of the quality of life. So we decided to restructure all the urban planning because of these mergers happening. Okay, for all sectors.
For the middle income group. Okay, before I go further, I actually have a video. I think maybe just to give you an idea of what M40 or Prima M40 homes looks like and what we do in Malaysia. I think I will show just a short 1-minute video for everyone. What I wish to quickly perhaps share without taking too much time is that what I would like to share a bit on the model that we used to deliver affordable homes for the M40. I think generally, I think we need to have a holistic approach in delivering homes. For Prima, we look at it from 3 main aspects, which is we look at the demand, we look at how we supply these homes, and most importantly is how do we build life for people. It's just, I think livability is the most important thing. You know, you can talk about building and governance. At the end of the day, it's people's life that we are trying to improve. So if we look at what we have done, Prima, we look at from the demand side, is that we establish a database of people who are eligible for our programs. At the moment, there are about 1.5 million people who have registered, and there are more than 35,000 homeowners. We also need to have a good understanding of who are actually we serving. You know, in order to do that, we must have a clear understanding of what are our target group and population, where are they based. You know, their geographical and as well as typological criteria for these homes. We also look at what are their main find what are the challenges in buying homes, for example. I think one of the biggest challenges is from financing, and financing. So as mentioned earlier by my Honourable Minister, we actually provide a financing program for our home buyers as well. Okay, from a supply perspective, we need to look at it from planning right up to construction, as well as technological intervention. So from the planning insight, we actually match our demand data to our projects to ensure that our home buyers actually get the homes that they need where they need it. Okay, and at the same time, we have partnership with our developers or program partners through public and private partnership, where we share the risk, the financing risk and marketing risk, as well as the cost of the development. So, and last but not least, we look at the standards. I think it's very important that we establish a quality through a standardization and also a clear policy. Okay. Last but not least, just a quick one, like I know you pressed for time, we've also developed a holistic approach towards building communities, which we look at all aspects of building communities, from their livability, from their health, from their safety aspects, as well as education. So with that, I
bring this kind of a non-profit organization to the level that you are today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Your Excellencies, my fellow panelists, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. First, I want to offer my gratitude for this opportunity to come together and share a few words, but also to congratulate the governments of Malaysia, Pakistan, and the UAE for their amazing work that you are doing. I do believe, as does Habitat for Humanity, that the challenges that we face require multiple actors and actions, that partnerships are the way of the future and the way to the future, beginning with community, partnering with governments, partnering with private sector. That P4 partnership is extremely important. I also want us to focus on the topic of today, because words do matter. If you look at our topic, we're talking about, there are some words that pop up. Affordable, it's even used twice. Adequate, living, housing, meaning that we are not just talking about numbers. Numbers do matter, but the quality of those particular houses are also mattering. May we also remember that today is the World Environment Day. And I think by some coincidence, this is perhaps no better time to have this conversation. Madam Edie has just left, but the statistics from the UN Habitat, and we have a global MOU with the UN Habitat, but we also have country-level MOUs with the UN Habitat, tell us that 238 million people in sub-Saharan Africa, as we sit here, live in informal settlements. 691 million people will require adequate, affordable housing in sub-Saharan Africa by the year 2030. That's not too far. And so the urgency of dealing with this is extremely important. A few years ago, as Habitat for Humanity, we partnered with some organizations and did a research and led to the production of a book that is called about the cornerstone of recovery. That statistically, it was traced that housing was a cornerstone of recovery from COVID-19. And remember, Minister and others have made reference to this particular moment in our lives. So this is really a critical sector we are talking about. So as our model is to tackle this from 4 areas. One is affordability, make it easy to access. And one of the ways to do that is to be innovative around our technologies, for example, so that we reduce the cost of owning a unit. Obviously, it is also about being climate resilient, hence our reference to the World Environment Day, because we're dealing with this. And I'm speaking to the next course of the COP, for example. The second level is habitability. Are they just structures or are they livable for human beings? But there's also the element of tenure security. The ability to feel safe in the piece of land. At least right now we still build on land, not on air. So we need to have safety around that. Why is that important? Because people build at their own time, and so we need to at least give them the opportunity to do it at their own space. Last but not least, basic services. Because when we are talking about housing, we are not just talking about 4 walls and a roof. We are talking about provision of water. We are talking about sanitation and all this other infrastructure. So this is why we are talking about a campaign called Home Equals. And we have given you some pamphlets if you could take a look at it. Because when considered in all that way, part of achieving that balance is to realize that home equals dignity. Home equals opportunity. Home equals freedom. Home equals longer lives. And so what are the other things that we are doing as I conclude? To achieve the balance that we desire on this particular topic, we are working on partnerships to provide financial inclusion with private sector, but also partnerships with the public sector, such as the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company and Tanzania Mortgage Refinance Company, respectively, with whom we have signed memoranda of understanding. The other thing that we are doing is integrated programming, such that, for example, through our
a right, as a human rights. And when we talk about the realization of affordable housing, adequate housing, there is also like a very interesting and important dimension that is a cultural one, how to understand the needs of people in order like to design policy, implement policy, and better target investments. So these are like practices that we try to promote, and we are very lucky to have you today in this assembly. We are also like hoping that the proposed resolution by Kenya and other countries will offer us the opportunity to strengthen this collaboration across countries in terms of knowledge sharing and having like much more power in terms of implementation of successful housing policies and programs. So thank you very much. Malaysia has been a very long-lasting partner. Madame Norliza has been like a friend also over the years, so we are very thankful for the partnership, and we look forward also in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cut across lines.
Yeah.
It has to be more integrated.
Yeah.
Whether it's the outskirts or the city.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. Yeah. Of course, my minister.
Last but not the least.
Definitely.
Thank you very much for these insightful and fruitful sessions.
Basically, there are a few keywords here. When we talk about housing, we want to make it affordable, must ensure adequate numbers, but don't forget, there must be also quality. Malaysia, we are fortunate, number one, we have a comprehensive legal framework. We have Housing Developers Controlling and Licensing Act since 1974. That has given the ministry power to control the advertising permit and also developer license. Number two, our policies is always certain and people's friendly. All developers who got license, they are legally bound to build 30% of their projects at affordable housing. Therefore, we can ensure and target, we can know exactly the numbers of housing that you are willing and can offer to the market. At the same time, of course, from the minister's point of view, one very important factor is leadership and political view. If we have a good policies, whereby the minister has no political view to implement it, it will be just as good as on paper. As such, so far, we are fully committed and we are doing it and we are getting better and better. Yes, we are also fine-tuned our policy to ensure not only adequate affordable housing. I give you the latest example. Before I came to Nairobi, we just have a meeting with Malaysia's Cement Producers Association. We managed to strike a historical deal with the cement supplier, whereby they supply 1 million metric tons of affordable cement for us to build houses. This is unprecedented, but that comes from the government because the government squeezed them. Of course, we negotiate with them. What are the terms and conditions that they can afford? Therefore, they offered us cement with prices 25 to 30% lower than the market price. That actually bring down each unit of houses by 5,000 ringgit. Don't underestimate this amount. That this scheme alone actually saved Malaysian 120 million ringgit, just from one example. There's a reason why I believe it is the political view that you must have. And with the support of all the local councils, we have to ensure the local councils are on the same page with us. We sing the same song, with the same theme, then only we can achieve that. Affordable houses is always the inspiration for us to turn into reality. We are prepared. And again, I would like to re-emphasize, Malaysia is ever ready to share our experience and work together with all other countries to make sure that to make our world a better world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. I think he concluded it well for me. And we've already actually run out of 5 minutes.